In football, owners come in all shapes and sizes. You've got Blueco and the City Group building global empires, Hollywood celebrities buying into EFL clubs, and your drunk mate somehow running the local Sunday league team. But one owner has built a reputation like no other. Known for his ruthless sackings, disastrous mismanagement, and even Spanish prosecutors recommended a 12-year prison sentence for tax fraud, this is Gino Pozzo Watford. Watford Football Club was founded in 1881, originally called Watford Rovers. In 1898 they absorbed rival club Watford St Mary's to form Watford FC. They call Vicarage Road their home, a stadium with a capacity of 21,500. Although having spent multiple seasons in the Premier League, or Division 1, they are yet to win any major silverware, although they have come close on numerous occasions. It's not all bad though. In 1970, a British artist named Reginald Kenneth Dwight, better known as Elton John, was making headlines across the globe, and he had a dream: to own his boyhood football club and take them to the top. 6 years after making headlines, his dream would become reality, paying 200 grand to become chairman of Watford FC. With manager Graham Taylor by his side, Watford shot up the leagues until 1982, where they reached the first division. Their time in the top flight was exciting to say the least, finishing runner-up to Liverpool in their first season, having a season in Europe and reaching the FA Cup final in 1984. Watford would hang around the first and second divisions after, with Elton John selling the club in 1990. In the 20-odd years that followed, Watford remained a consistent figure in the second tier, with the odd spell in the top flight. Fast forward to 2012, the year of Doomsday, the London Olympics, and Gangnam Style. Watford was in a sorry state, being placed under a transfer embargo, and the former owner Lawrence Bassini being banned from football for 3 years due to being found guilty of misconduct and dishonesty over financial dealings on behalf of the club. Enter Gino Pozzo, an Italian businessman who took over from Bassini. At first, this was seen as a blessing, but jumped to 2026 and he's entirely lost the trust of the fanbase. Originally, it started well, from the Deeney goal to promotion to an FA Cup final, but in 2020 the cracks started to form. Since Pozzo became Watford's manager in 2012, he's ruled with an iron fist. He expects his managers to hit the ground running and get immediate results. If not, well, there's a reason Watford have had the most managers in Europe's top division over the last 15 years. Take Rob Edwards, for example. Employed by Watford after their relegation in 2022, he was seen as a long-term plan, with CEO Scott Duxbury even saying we will be supporting him come hell or high water. However, he was sacked after only 11 matches, losing just 3 of them. This sparked outrage in the fanbase as the club promised to back him and treated Edwards as though he were a long-term plan. To make matters worse, Rob Edwards then found new employment under Luton Town, Watford's biggest rivals, just a month later, guiding them to the playoffs, even beating Watford 2-0 in the derby at Kenilworth Road, and eventually securing promotion to the Premier League after a win against Coventry on penalties. Watford's fanbase blamed the promotion on Gino Pozzo, claiming it was avoidable and an entirely useless sacking. Now, obviously with any club, managers will come and go, but Watford have gone through 24 managers since Pozzo took over in 2012. You can't build for a long-term future if you're constantly chopping and changing. This is one of the main points that Watford fans mention, feeling as though the club's progress is at a standstill. Since being relegated from the Premier League in 2022, they've finished mid-table every season, and on the rare occasion a manager is given time, fans feel as though they're treated unfairly and not backed properly to do the job. Tom Cleverley is a prime example of this. Joining in 2017 from Everton, he was a midfielder for Watford, putting in solid performances and becoming a fan favourite, being appointed captain in July 2022 under Rob Edwards. Unfortunately, this would not last long. On the 12th of August the same year, he'd get a career-ending injury after scoring against Burnley in a 1-0 win for Watford. The next season, he'd go on to coach Watford's under-21s until March of 2024, where he'd become interim manager of the first team after the sacking of Valérien Ismail. He'd get the permanent job just a month later. In his first window, he'd bring in players like Moussa Sissoko, Rocco Vata and Daniel Chebison. Come Christmas time, Watford was sitting in a playoff spot, but with other promotion rivals right behind them, Watford had to have a strong transfer window. This did not happen. With teams around them making signings left, right and centre, Watford seemed to do nothing. Fans were left bitter come the end of the window, only bringing in James Abankwah and Egil Selvik from Udinese, another club owned by the Pozzo family. It was around this time that rumours were flying about Cleverley potentially getting the sack. In an act of protest, fans emailed the club to disapprove the potential sacking, getting an automated response back. Fans also voiced their opinion in the stands, singing chants about Tom Cleverley and Gino Pozzo.
I don't care about Gino, he don't care about me. Unfortunately, in May 2025,
he was sacked anyway. Watford's managerial problem isn't the only issue with the club. Gino Pozzo's father, Gianpaolo Pozzo, despite his name sounding like a cold cut of meat, owns the Italian top flight club Udinese. Now, although not technically against UEFA rules, due to the clubs being in separate pyramids, it still raised eyebrows. Players routinely shuffle between Pozzo clubs. For instance, in 2022, right-back Hassan Kamara was sold to Udinese for 16 million, only to be loaned straight back to Watford. That transfer is now under EFL review as a related party deal. Critics argue that this network lets the Pozzos treat Watford as a feeder club rather than invest in it for its own sake. The links are so close that when the Pozzos finally agreed to sell Udinese in 2025 after 39 years, it showed how tight the family's focus was on their wider empire. The scrutiny around the club's connections isn't limited to England and Italy. In October 2018, Belgian police raided clubs including Anderlecht, Club Brugge and Standard Liège as part of a nationwide fraud and match-fixing investigation. Among those arrested was Mogi Bayat. Prosecutors later charged Bayat with offences such as belonging to a criminal organisation and money laundering. Investigations alleged the agents schemed high transfer commissions, payments to players and coaches, forgery and money laundering. The police seizures also included Bayat's business records. Investigators confiscated files and contracts from his agency. For example, Belgian media reported that during a raid on Standard Liège's offices, they seized Bayat-linked contracts for players and coaches. Sky News noted that Standard's police search turned up contracts for striker Obiala, then on loan at Standard from Watford, and coach Mikel Prudhomme, both of whom were Bayat's clients. Notably, Bayat's influence reaches beyond Belgium into England. He's been deeply involved with multiple transfers to Watford. A 2023 Guardian investigation reported that Bayat acted as a registered intermediary on 9 Watford transfers during one season, 21-22, including deals for players like Emmanuel Dennis and Moussa Sissoko. The same report revealed that Bayat had set up a UK agency in mid-2019 with help from Lorenzo Gallucci, a longtime financial advisor to Pozzo, via Watford's holding company. So, what happens next at Vicarage Road? Well, for now, Pozzo is still the owner, but signs suggest even he isn't sure how long that'll last. After insisting he didn't want to sell in early 2023, reports emerged later that year of talks to sell Watford, even a possible full takeover by a US investment group was mentioned. The club's valuation is set to be around the 200 million range, reflecting that Watford has been a stable championship club. Meanwhile, on the pitch, Watford have settled into mid-table life without clear vision from the board. Improvement may be hard to come by. Fans hope that new ownership or investment could spark a rebuild, but others worry buyers will see Watford only as another project in the portfolio. Gino Pozzo brought Premier League seasons and an FA Cup final, but many fans say Watford's lost its identity. Regular managerial and transfer churn has left the Hornets feeling like a business, not a community. Rebuilding trust at Vicarage Road is a real challenge.
You can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in